Hi guys, welcome to the movie review version of the time. As in, I myself is not a fan of a war, and I honestly seen 1939 to 1945 and 1945 and above the war is kind of insane. But I'm talking about one category here today is 1941, the fought for the Red Army, and for Moscow. Give me a second. So what I kind of like this movie is actually it shown the horror of the war in World War Two and what the Germany Nazi German they lost the war, but the Red Army never given up. And the Red Army eventually won the war around 1942 when Moscow eventually sent in the last army was nowhere near perfect, but I can tell you honestly, I seen the movie and the whole movie itself. I myself, guilty as charged, I watched the movie and I kind of like it with the English subtitle. There is definitely reasonable for me. But the last frontier is about this cadet, so-called cadet people, like youngsters from the school. They were sent to cadets years ago, 100 years ago. Now I think there is still cadets, but they changed the name already, and the location have changed ever since. But what this cadet was, the cadet corps was supposedly holding the German down the road, and they fought for Moscow. But they didn't know how long they're going to defend and how many ammunition, how many bomb they going to like bring out of the Nazi to fight the Nazi to defend their home front line. And I honestly think Nazi Germany is one of those very bad things that ever happens in 100 years ago. You all know about Adolf Hitler, about all this insanity war, and Call of Duty Mobile and Call of Duty World War Two have this German mindset as well. For example, Brother in Arms, and the most famous one is Saving Private Ryan. If you guys remember all this movie, is one of those category, but the last frontier is a different zone. Like literally, you can see from Moscow version and the Red Army version, and the Red Army is eventually not prepared at this point. And I can honestly tell you, the flaw is very bad. As in, why? Why? I mean, I seen the movie and I got myself blown away, like literally. Without all the cutscene, you guys should have known all the animation is bad. But in another hand, they did not bring enough bullet nor a good gun. Even though they have a good gun, back then they didn't even bring it out. That's why they certainly fall for it. But here is another main issue I saw in the movie is they did not even demonstrate what is the cadet corps for and the value of the cadet corps. I myself seen the movie. I myself feel sad for them. 100 years ago, they lost many men and women. For those nurses that actually fall, it's bad. And in the movie, there is two victim runners and 250 people in the screen die or alive or burn alive. I honestly don't understand why Germany is so naive on this front line. I mean, look at this. If you see the movie in your own term and your own eye, you can see why I say they did fought for Moscow, but did they even think for once that they have the high advantage? I don't think so. Back then, World War II was in Moscow, and they have this camera technology. They can take photo of the Nazi tank arriving to the bridge, but they cannot find volunteer or the core value of the army or the vanguard that actually protecting the Moscow back then. They can't even have reinforcement. That's how the cadet was caught, and they will blow horn all the way until the front line. And I honestly say, I myself feel sad. I like the movie, but also don't want to look down in Russia because I like Russia as a country. But keep in mind, back then, 1941, there's nothing you can do. Not enough army, that's one. Rations are very limited, and guns and bullets whatsoever they have in their pouch is limited to certain category. And I feel sad that they don't have the basic military things. And myself, I seen people actually died in that movie. It's a very sad news. You can even find some trailer. They have the cutscene for you to see. Watch it on your own risk and don't get a nightmare. But over here, I can only tell you honestly, the movie itself is a little bit here and there. But I feel sad about the last cutscene was they were targeting tank with anti-tank piercing guns, and the guns was so jam, jam stuff can't even move, and they happens to be the last few rounds of the ammunition guns, and they were ordered to retreat, but this guy and girl decided to, oh, you know what, let's help the second lieutenant. And you know what, the second lieutenant had the mindset of like kill himself already. That's how back then the Moscow lieutenant themselves actually suicided. Back in the old days, I don't even know why they doing this, but now I understand. They want to fight for Moscow, but fighting for Moscow also, here's the thing, they lost their life for no reason. I mean, if the Red Army ever think back then they had the technology, they should at least get more reserve people to work with the army. And they should at least try to fix the situation rather than calling in the cadet. Find someone that actually know the map. Then know the map, they can build a frontline defense of 5 layered version of the mountain. I mean, back then it's farmhouse, farm land, farm things, and farm cow, farm chickens. You know how all the farm stuff there. But what surprised me is they are not really prepared. The cadet was not even trained. For a few months later, they can graduate and join the higher up version of the army. But they calling in cadet was not a good call. They are not prepared. They are not sure what to do, and I honestly don't understand why send in the young people but that actually haven't experienced war rather than asking yourself in front of the TV saying that why are they even fighting for? And I understand it's for defense purpose. They want to defend the homeland, motherland of Russia, this kind of things mindset. But is it worth or risking many life or the boy's life or the girl life? Actually, no. None of them. Actually, they can prevent this situation ever happens 100 years ago. But what really outraged me today when I saw the movie was very sad. I honestly want to I honestly want to bite my tongue before I do a review on this. The movie is very good in writing term, but they really have to hold a movie back. I mean, they should not do a second one until they manage to like find the problem. And I find the problem very sad that they using cadet life and the couple that's supposed to marry each other to kill themselves. And I honestly feel that they can prevent this movie to happen, not to be accurate like 100% with the World War II scenario, but they have to understand cadet life is supposed to experience the army structure, not to send them to war and one of them eventually gonna not hear the master sergeant or commander and run to the next front line. I honestly think that's 1941 was a big mistake. And the German was super powered with tanks and tanks with 30 millimeter armored tank. No matter you like it or not, those guys are way out of hand. I myself find it ridiculous back then that the tank can be this armored layer, and I think that probably people back then in 1941 have no idea. And you know what really struck me? They used the TNT handheld TNT to fire up and throw at the tank, and it's useless. The tank still can move. And I forgot to tell you, flamethrower was a problem back then. And you know what Nazi Germany do? They burn they burn the whole cadet corps. They literally wore the giant backpack of flamethrower to burn the person. I myself feel wow, this is what Nazi Germany looked like. I myself been watching World War II history since quite a few long time ago, but I'm more infrastructure down the Nazi line, but I never thought of hearing Moscow until today. I never known Moscow have a war. I guess not all history book are the same. I mean, probably Moscow have the version of the book. For educational purpose, I think some people really have to watch the movie to understand the outrages of the Nazi Germany crime. I myself watch it, I myself feel sad, I myself don't understand why people are using cadet. And I feel sad they are lover in the cadet corps and they die when the bomb blown up. Like literally three bomb drop into the ammunition hall and with the guns. Wow, that is one big mushroom cloud in the movie theater. I think people have the mindset of understanding, oh, Call of Duty is the same, but no. I myself seen it. I myself experienced the horror, and I know why now veteran people in the Red Army really cannot survive. And not just that, after the whole entire bomb blown up thing, they eventually send in more people. And these people are reserve army. I mean, wow, Jesus. They would have sent those people rather than sending the cadet. That's what I feel like, and that's really rich. I myself seen it. I myself feel the sadness of it. I think half of the time the movie need to be fixed. I haven't seen any movie like this before, but I think